we are starting the stream. Let me just
This is the
go
most
over
sober you
to
will
the
get me all
live
day.
dashboard and see when that starts. Okay, we are live. So transition to the podcast studio image that I can no longer alter between episodes because I don't have Photoshop anymore.
That's a good thing.
So it's just
There
everyone
is
that
an
Chalkfy has
echo.
currently drawn. Which,
I think that just might be through his actions.
huh?
Other account.
I think I did turn up someone's volume. I can't really hear you.
Sorry, we were just saying that we can hear an echo.
Oh, dang it. I thought I muted that.
It's fine. You just get used to it.
Yeah, don't worry.
I thought I muted the microphone. Unless you can hear my headphones.
Maybe.
Probably the headphones.
Yeah, it's so weird here. It's like almost perfect copy of your voice.
Hello? Do you guys hear the echo now?
How
Hello?
about if I just turn the user volume to your alt account down to 0% and there?
It's the feedback delay from the podcast being live.
Well, the alt account is on mute. It might just be really good at hearing my headphones.
Yeah, it is your headphones.
Yeah.
I just moved the headphone off. I'm only wearing one headphone. So I moved the other headphone off the desk. It's better?
Oh, yeah. You have the podcast open.
I do.
Send me a
Oh,
podcast.
it's Zen we're hearing.
Okay. So anyways, even though the image on screen is me, Chalkfy, Ivory, Strike, Coolman, Forrest, Looney, and our mascot, I'm the only one here that's in the picture. I am joined by, currently, by 3 of the members of Project Dead Tree.
Hello, we're here to take over. There is no more rat meter, there is just Dead Tree.
Takeover. Oh no.
It's not a hostile
No.
takeover. It's not a hostile takeover. We'll get you so hyped on coffee you won't be able to sleep.
Don't pay us money. That'd be horrible.
What fucking money? I'm unemployed. I don't have unemployment.
And let's retweet that we are now live. Probably
Me and
best that I
Comic
do
both
that.
have to go to our shitty jobs all the time. Okay, that mic works. My shower ran too long.
Okay.
I should have had breakfast.
Live now. Then did the tweet go through? Okay, it did. And then
Raise the pause. Who's eating today?
I had apple.
I mean, the props of eating.
Finally popping in, we have
I drink a lot of coffee.
Art Bun Bun, aka Chalkfy, as well as Cinder Script, who voiced Spike / Watcher in the most recent episode, but she also runs Shotgun Angel Productions.
Yep, we're the ones doing the Horseman and Dead Tree audiobook.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a big old happy hug fest down here in the low tier Fallout Equestria area.
Tier.
I think
Speak
the
for
word you're
yourself,
looking for
plebeians.
is it.
Hey, you guys took so long to release anything that there are like 16 things that have the exact same rules.
What?
Apparently, Chalkfy is mentioning that there's more than one pen and paper RPG,
And
apparently.
most of them, and you guys took so long to release that most of the other people just took your rules and then added like one thing.
And
Yeah, I had.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
Welcome to Homebrew.
Yeah.
yeah, like, that goes back to where the system started.
I mean,
Yeah.
you realize what Pathfinder is, right?
Yep.
It's
Yeah.
the same thing.
Hello, can I introduce you to this thing called GURPS?
Fuck you.
Actually, speaking of alternate pen and paper RPG stuff for Fallout Equestria, a
Other
podcast
pen and
I was
paper
on,
games are available. No,
Yes.
they're not. Not here,
No.
though.
but a podcast that I was on like a couple months ago, that was a little known Fallout Equestria themed podcast, Post-Apocalyptic Horse Talk. Apparently, the person who runs that is working on their own like system for a Fallout Equestria RPG tabletop game. So there's a few of them out there.
Yeah, I just find it funny that I ended up playing a game so long that we ended up having to create rules for sex demons.
That's how it normally goes.
Fuck you.
It's not on me, that's on the game master. That's not on me, that's on the game master.
Specifically, sex demons.
Yes, but also other kinds of demons.
I mean, just change things and give them a whole bunch of negative traits. Sex demons.
Also, speaking of the other podcast for the post-apocalyptic horse talk, I talked to him before. We were supposed to be on there around April, but that didn't work out.
We should
Yeah,
touch with them again.
No, in all honesty, I'm just happy that there's still a bunch of people who are playing it frequently enough that they're like, we run this specific issue that there aren't rules for. It's homebrew time. Like that fills that fills my blackened heart with joy.
That's kind of how we
Yeah, no,
started.
we actually just recently started a game in a slightly older rule set for it's like a Metro-esque game, but most like it's a Metro-inspired Fallout Equestria game that uses some of these slightly older rules. So that's interesting.
Like, my Sunday game, we actually just put together physical rules because we ended up in a Mad Max-style wasteland area. And, after you rocket launcher a few cars, and you have an Earth Pony in the party, inevitability happens.
Yeah, I can see that.
Sounds like a lot of fun.
I would
kinda
love to see
remind-
those rules for vehicles, by the way.
Yeah.
You're just wait. You rocket launched a few cars and then an Earth Pony happened. I kind of want you to elaborate more at the same point in time.
The Earth Pony decided to build like something out of the parts, right? At least that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Quote, hey, if we take the, let's see, quote, hey, if we take the parts from the trucks, we can make a mega truck.
That's one of the most redneck things I think I've ever heard in my life.
I'm just imagining like a six-wheeler, like you know how you have the normal little cars in like a Mad Max scenario, and then you have like a six-wheeler plowing through
okay,
them.
Oh yes, it
So,
is a six-wheeler. It now has
someone
a-
just commented
it
that
now has a-
that only I can be understood. I'm not sure what's going on with the audio. Someone is someone watching the stream?
Well,
I can't
team
at
up
the same
muted.
time because my internet.
I have it muted because I have it in another tab, but I have it muted because I want to be able to see any comments.
Yeah.
While also being able to understand yourself. Okay, so these are still a work in progress. Here, these are still a work in progress. But this is what we've been using. Yes.
Okay.
We have a PNP area, but I don't know if
Yeah,
that would
we
be perfect.
I like how this was supposed to be the episode 4 post-release
Okay, to
discussion.
be fair, how
But we spent
how
the last
long
10 minutes.
could we really talk about episode 4? It,
Ow.
it was just a conversation. It was a good episode. The music was great.
Yeah,
Oh god, what voice did I actually use for Spike?
so
Kind of
episode 4
Roar.
of The Storyteller.
Rory.
Those of you who are watching the stream and haven't watched it, I don't know why you're here. You're on our you were on our channel. Just click the channel button, go back to our channel, and
Clearly
watch
they're
the
here to
episode.
listen to me. And
Exactly.
all of my
Well, Mr. Android.
awesomeness.
Yes, as Spike, which interesting thing about that, it's a lot of interpretations of Spike when there's like an audio book or audio drama. It's usually like a deep, almost demonic sounding robotic voice. But Cinder actually edited episode 3, at least mostly, and had gone with like a higher pitched Spike robot voice.
Oh, doing the whole Watcher thing.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
For Watcher, not for Spike the Dragon.
Yeah.
For the
No,
Sprite bot.
I don't think we have plans for Spike to show up himself for a while.
I
Or
don't think he will at all.
Hey,
But-
what can I say? It's the modulator, not me. I sound much more impressive in real life.
Oh gosh, it's too early to do that.
No, but
That just sounded painful.
initially I was like apprehensive, like, oh, everyone's gonna expect Spike to be like at least as his Watcher form, to be like this like deep robot voice. But then I went back through like chapter 1 or 2 of the original Fallout Equestria story, and it does describe Spike's voice through the sprite bot
Oh, okay. Yeah. No.
as being like
Mini.
tinny, and like I think even it may have described it as high pitched. So I don't know why everyone interprets it as having to be like deep, even when it's a robot.
Giant dragon.
Yeah, I
Because
know.
everybody forgets that voice modulators exist.
Yeah, I always
Yeah.
figured it just means, you know,
Text-to-speech.
maybe talking through a Coke can.
Yeah, I mean, everyone forgets that you can kind of just do this whenever you want to. It's really, nah.
Yeah. So
Look at you with your fancy technology.
and also, if we decide at some point later for Watcher to show up again and decide to go with a different audio effect, here's a simple explanation. It's a different sprite bot, and
Yeah.
maybe the other one was more damaged or less damaged. Because people in the Wasteland use sprite bots for target practice.
Annoying.
Listen,
Listen, look, you can only listen to Oompa music for so long. Now they're like rock songs.
Jason, you want these vehicle rules?
Yes, the news thing I want to say.
Here. No, this is also, my GM's also the one who made the, character sheets that we use. Let's give an example of one. This is my current player character. Compounded change bug demolitionist, who's a little bit
Okay,
crazy.
the second you're I'm like, what chat are you sharing those in? Oh, the I want to play chat from the PNP/D&D section of the server.
Yeah, I mean, I think
I've
that's
ever played.
Kind of fair.
It's a place that makes sense, I guess.
Driving for dummies.
Okay, now that we've briefly discussed something that
The
people
actual
that
episode.
no one mentioned regarding episode 4, like I thought I'd get a lot more people saying, "Why is Spike's voice higher pitched as a robot than everyone else depicts them?" I guess that's it for the discussion of episode 4.
Is there anything else you can think of?
Well, I can say that I did put quite a bit of. So here's the fun thing. The audio trick that I did used for Spike is actually one that I learned how to do years and years ago, and it's a stronger version of a audio engineering trick that I use for power armor and radios. The actual main difference I used was a significant amount of reverb for Spike's voice, whereas normally I wouldn't have that, and that would be what I would use for someone like Steelhooves.
Yeah, we had a different editor edit most of episode 4, and so I had a screen picture that Chalkvi had actually taken of Cinder describing how she had done that, and
We all
I
need to
sent
have the
them
process.
because
needed the
they were
process.
also using Audacity, so they could just follow it step by step. And so if Spike in the end of episode 3 and episode 4 sounds slightly different, like probably a barely noticeable degree of difference, it's because it's a different editor trying to follow the same steps.
Yeah, honestly, in hindsight, I
Yeah,
should have
good.
just provided the compression presets.
Yeah, that might have worked.
Because they
If
were
I-
using Audacity, so it would have been something that they could have easily just used that, but
Something's in hindsight, right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like saying hindsight is 2020 is going to be sad for a couple of years.
I didn't think something hindsight. I didn't tell about it.
Yeah.
Look, all I'm hoping for is
People
kaiju by
playing
Christmas.
Apocalypse
Can I have
Bingo.
kaiju by Christmas?
People playing Apocalypse Bingo are having a good time in 2020. Everyone else.
No. December is Robot Santa Claus. We're all on the naughty list.
Can I get a purge November?
Black Friday is gonna be terrifying.
Oh no, yeah, Robot Santa Claus from Futurama.
Can be under martial law for Black Friday.
Okay, hey, Comic.
Yeah?
Disconnect from the podcast, disconnect from the Discord call and reconnect. Everyone else, you still have a... Because of the...
Disconnect the alt account. Disconnect and reconnect the alt account.
Yeah, whatever is being used to record,
The recording.
Oh, that's
it has
my account. The alt account is just so I can hear it.
Okay,
Okay,
then
so-
disconnect and reconnect your account.
Yeah, because whatever's doing that has a poor connection to the...
Oh yeah, I do have real shit internet all of a sudden.
Yeah,
I
that's why,
have a problem with the internet.
that's why we
It would
did
help if
more...
I was connected to the closer internet connection. Uh-oh. Because we temporarily lost connection to the stream. It said the stream was finished, but then it changed. So hopefully it doesn't get uploaded in like a 19-minute segment and then everything else. I guess in theory I can take it down. I don't know. Our stream health is low. This happens every single time I try to live stream. I really should... Uh-oh. Oh no. Oh no. The audio for everyone else is now gone. So now it's just me. I don't know how long it was like that. But... God dang it. Actually, thank you, OBS. I think I have Comcast. Okay, why the hell is... Why does it do this? OBS, why? And hold on, let me quit Discord.
To make teether jokes, but
Okay, yay, audio for everyone else is back.
Modern problems require modern solutions.
Okay, now let's see if it's actually back for the podcast.
did you just try and unplug and plug it back in?
Have you tried working the
I
chat?
restarted Discord. That's usually what works.
Sometimes Discord just needs the Phoenix.
Yes. Yes. Done. So we're understood now.
Garble,
So-
garble.
The 4 people that are watching, who a good chunk of that's probably us.
Yeah, probably.
Hello, us.
Are the 4 people watching just you guys watching on other screens?
No, I dropped. I dropped. There's at least one person who's actually watching this. So to like, at the very least, that lone person, thank you so much.
Yes. Welcome to the haphazard train wreck that is every time I decide to do a live stream.
You're pissed.
Having enough video to maintain a smooth stream.
Not
As
receiving enough
such,
video.
viewers will experience buffering.
Like, what are you trying to...
Okay, so
Uh-oh, and I've lost connection.
what you may want to do to start in the future
It is just a flat picture, yeah. Oh, for the love of Discord, really? Discord just stopped sending audio again.
Thing that Cinder said like a few seconds before, not this last thing, but the what was it? The like, so how's everybody doing? And then I didn't realize I was muted for this entire time.
Yeah, you've been muted for the last, 6 minutes.
Hell.
Okay, well, I don't know
Tartarus.
how long it was. Okay,
Oh,
okay.
1 second.
The one person who's actually watching this live that isn't also in the podcast.
Wait, isn't that just Cloud Gazer?
Yes. According to him, as of 2:25, it's fine for him.
Cool.
Alright.
Awesome.
So, I have really bad connection, and also probably doesn't help that I woke up this morning to my brother texting me saying, hey, when you wake up, this person's gonna be here, and it's a friend I haven't hung out with in, forever, despite them living in the same town as me. They used to not, so it's more recent that they live in the same town. And chances are they're using the internet for something right now.
They're watching
So-
lots of porn.
Those bastards.
As you do with your friends.
Of course.
Remember the good old days when the guys were sitting in the hot tub 6 feet apart because they weren't gay and not because of a virus?
Oh, they were friends others.
Yeah, but now it's not only Pride Month, but it's 2020. So we got to support the gays. It's pro homo, not no homo.
What if they're 6 feet apart because they're both gay, but they don't realize it?
That's a possibility.
I think that's what we call an existential crisis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It also probably
think
doesn't
that's-
help that my internet in the room of the house that I'm in is like a daisy-chained connection off of 2 range extenders,
Ooh.
which apparently
Your
you can do,
Or
but it's probably not
internet.
recommended.
Yeah, you don't use if you're gonna daisy chain anything. First off, I suggest actually using routers instead of extenders.
That is
And repeaters. But you don't ever want your daisy chain to be more than like 1. So
It's
like
2. It's currently 2.
I'm using a similar setup. I've got I've got my own router, and then there's the main router. So I've got the main router. It has from the modem, and it runs a hard line to my router, and then that router runs all my stuff. If I did more routers, I'd start to see degradation in my internet speeds.
See, I live in a townhouse. We don't have to deal with that kind of problem.
Well, you see, a simple solution would be bring my laptop over to the main house and live stream from there. But my old laptop is slow as molasses in January at the North Pole. So
Yeah.
it have its own
And
issues.
get a new laptop.
When I was given the option to get a new computer, I opted for a new desktop.
I mean,
Good man.
Yes,
good, man.
it's important, especially because you are doing a lot of the active editing. Sometimes you need to do rendering for some
Usually,
things.
at least how it
But-
currently has been, is someone else will do all the audio mixing, or at least most of the audio mixing. And then what I do is I just put the audio, background music, a couple sound effects that were forgotten or weren't in the script, but I felt they should be necessary.
And this is why
the,
you need
visuals,
people.
which is just the sort of refreshing quote unquote terminal screen.
What? Turtle?
Huh?
Did you say
It's
turtle?
It's the
Terminal.
visual effect that makes it
Oh,
look like a terminal.
Ah, yeah, okay.
Because
I heard turtle. I was like, when do we talk about turtles?
I like turtles.
Yeah, it's just an overlay. It's a semi-transparent overlay that goes over the whatever images that are being used.
Yeah,
People
and
like
because I
turtles.
don't have After Effects, I kind of had to cheat in how to like make it do this. So, Chokfi, who made the overlays, he had the background image that's like the title art for the Storyteller, but green hued, so it looks like it's just being projected by green light. Then I put a bunch of titles in the, like, I think the font is like Share Text Mono or something like that. I looked up what the font for Fallout Terminals was, and that's what the internet gave me. And then there's a like semi-transparent, like see-through. Spacing on the word. Semi-transparent thing that's like that kind of looks like the screen of the things in Fallout. And how I get it to look like
a
it's
refresh line.
has
Yeah.
that really bad refresh rate is I put a bad TV effect on it, but use none of the other like adding noise effects that the effect has, and only use the video roll thing where like it constantly like repeats the image, like when you stop a VHS, that kind of video roll. And then I have it like,
Yeah, okay.
like across the entirety of the episode, have it go like from no video roll to like 3 or so. I don't know. It's the way that Final Cut deals with things. It probably makes no sense to someone not looking at Final Cut when I'm describing this. So it just slowly just goes through a video roll kind of thing. And it works.
I think I have enough time to go eat while you're
It's
talking.
probably not the best. If I had like After Effects, I could make it probably look a lot better. But I don't have any Adobe programs. I had all of them for CS6, but when Apple updated to one of the more recent OS systems, they dropped support for, I think, like, I don't know if it was either, like, I think it was 32-bit programs, which every single legacy Adobe program was 32-bit. And so I lost the ability to use every single legacy Adobe program I had. And I absolutely refuse to pay for Creative Cloud. So.
They got your ass.
I'm like, no, I'm not gonna pay Adobe a monthly fee to use a program I once didn't have to pay monthly for.
I mean, I like Creative Cloud.
And this is where piracy starts.
Yeah, pretty much. I quite like Creative Cloud, just from like a graphic designer, like professional graphic design perspective. Yeah, it's honestly probably a hell of a lot more expensive than, because I'm essentially, like when you price it out, you're essentially buying a new version of Adobe every year.
Like I get that it's probably really useful.
But
I just am angry
understand
at Adobe for some things they've done, and angry at Apple for some things they've done, and I feel like buying Creative Cloud means they've both won.
It's fair.
This is how piracy happens.
Yep. I mean, piracy has always been a service issue.
Being a pirate.
Like I said, I completely understand people not liking the Creative Cloud model. I personally enjoy it. I enjoy what Creative Cloud's been doing and how they've done a lot of it. I enjoy a lot of the functionality with the Creative Cloud system. Like they've essentially made Adobe Bridge obsolete with some of the things they've done. I haven't touched Adobe Bridge except maybe once in the last 4 years, because I can drag and drop other program files and things from the program into other programs. So like I can be working on something from in Illustrator and then just immediately drag it into Photoshop, or I can save it and grab that Illustrator file and drag it into Photoshop. You couldn't do that before.
Yeah, it's kind of like why I use GIMP over Photoshop. I can drop, or Audacity. I can drop almost freaking anything into those.
Yeah, but like what I mean is like I can actually do it. Like real time almost. I don't have to like save and open it up, and it isn't like a because like what GIMP did. I haven't touched GIMP in years, but I know when I was using it, and GIMP is nice. Yeah, essentially it opened and recognized everything, and you could save as everything, and you could open everything, and that was the nice thing. You still have to, if I'm working in Illustrator, I have to save it and export an Illustrator file, and then bring it in. Where I don't have to do that step in Creative Cloud. But yeah, GIMP's good too.
It's also free, which
Yes.
I'm a poor excuse for an artist. The only program that I know how to use.
The head artist of our production.
Yeah. The only program I know how to use effectively is Paint.net.
That being said, what are you doing? Are you doing drawings or are you doing more graphic design stuff? Like,
I don't know if you guys are looking at the stream, but that podcast studio image, it was drawn by Chalkfee.
Okay. A really awesome free program I highly suggest you check out is Krita. Even if you're doing image manipulation, Krita does a mix of Photoshop and like Paint Tool Sci. It's a little bit more set up for for actual like drawing and painting, and digital painting. But it's quite nice and it works very well if you use anything Adobe. Like it's got a lot of Adobe compatibility, and it's got a whole lot of brushes, and it does things better than GIMP. It does things a little bit better than Paint.net, in my opinion. And overall, it's just a really excellent, very powerful, professional grade tool that's freeware. It's donationware, essentially. Personally, if I'm painting and drawing, I prefer Corel Painter, but that's just me, and that's really just because I got it through Humble Bundle, because for $30 I could get pretty much the entirety of Corel's software suite, their 2019 software suite, and that was fucking dope.
Woo! Humble Bundle.
Yeah, it's a lot I like Humble Bundle. I got really used to the line tool in Paint.net, and no other line tool is the same, and it
I
really bugs me.
understand that feeling. I used to draw explicitly in Photoshop, and I could not stand. I hate Clip Studio. I hate Paint Tool Sci. I hate how their tools work. I hate how their GUI and interface works and functions and even looks. The only thing that came close was Krita, but even then, there are a couple things about Krita I didn't like. I didn't like how line art came out in Krita, and so I always would do my line art in Photoshop and then do my my coloring in Krita. But Corel Painter has just kind of completely taken over, and I fucking adore it.
I'll have to check it out sometime. I
Krita
do need to.
great.
I do need to learn how to. I finally got my mom's old drawing tablet working, and I need to try to learn how to use that so I can actually advance as an artist, because it's kind of hard to do better with what I do, except for better placement, which means just taking more time, or trying to make a bigger picture, which means my computer's not going to be able to make that picture. It's just not. Sometimes.
I had
will
a funny
warn
story I
you-
wanted to say, but the conversation has steered away from it, so I don't know if I should even bring it up.
Bring it up.
So, I had commissioned a redesign of our mascot, Megaspell, from a friend of mine, Fluff Dragon Art. Shout out to her. You should go check her art out. It's amazing. And so I was watching the live stream where she was drawing it, I think in Photoshop.
Yeah.
And we were talking about various
I
other
think it was Photoshop.
good free programs. And apparently the auto mod for I think it was Twitch. For some reason, well, I mean I know the reason,
Oh,
but
yeah, that was hilarious. That was the program
if
she
you
was
tried
drawing
to talk
into.
about the program GIMP, it would not let you post that. It was saying
Yep.
you were using a slur because
Because GIMP.
it is a slur.
It was funny.
But
It's
we
not
were
a
talking
slur,
about
it's
the
an
slur.
slur.
We were talking
It's
about
not a
the
slur. It's a
Okay.
phrase
Okay,
involved in
technically-
BDSM.
Technically, it was used poorly in the past because it meant like a lame person, a person with a disability that was physical. But and now it's
kind of
mostly
was
just used in the
annoying.
BDSM context.
We had to basically like describe what GIMP was instead of saying the name.
You could
This
just
is
say the actual.
GIMP.
You could
Apparently,
just
I
say
think it
GIMP's full
actually-
name, which is GNU Image Manipulation Program.
Yeah,
That's what GIMP stands for.
And for those who are curious,
But we're too lazy
who are
for that.
watching the stream, this is the image we got of the redesigned Megaspell. Yes, I did use that as a transition to the redesigned Megaspell,
Do it.
which I will
Oh.
drop into the podcast. Oh no, that's the wrong chat. That's the I Wanna Play. Where is the podcast?
Soft is what she is.
Just so you guys can see what I'm talking about.
See, I think I managed to make a very adorable character out of something that was gory like this. She rounded her out a lot.
The bomb jaw, though.
Oh, that's where her neck is.
See, I want to put it on a green background.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I
I
chose
thought that was
green
kind of a
background,
weird concept.
but
That was a weird one, but whatever.
Like, I guess putting it on a background makes it a little bit more tame.
when I was one of the things she does when she does these redesigns is she asks for the character's personality, and I had put kind of that, like, Megaspell had like a sort of Pinkie Pie personality. She's an ambivert.
Oh, no.
She can be both an extrovert or an introvert depending on the circumstances.
Oh, dear
She's
God,
not
no.
one or the other. And apparently the rounded shapes tells the viewer of the art that this character is bouncy, fun-loving, energetic, which is why
She decided to make Megaspell more friend-shaped.
So
She decided to make her more friend-shaped.
Well, that's why all of my alarm bells are going off, and I'm experiencing deep existential dread.
She's friend-shaped?
Pinkie Pie gives
She's
you
shaped like a
existential dread.
friend.
That's a long story.
She's shaped like a friend, and like that's cute, but
And like there's a whole section of the stream with the redesign, which I believe is still available as a VOD on Fluff Dragon's Twitch channel. If I remember, I'll pop a link in the description of this live stream when it goes up on YouTube. The recording of it. She had a whole section of the stream that I'd initially missed because I woke up late for the day that it was going to happen. But like where she actually talked about like how certain shapes express certain things in art, and apparently Megaspell had, or at least the current design, had a lot of angular, like, triangle, which is apparently more of a mischievous sort of sense to it. I just think it was Chalkfee's art style, but I don't know. It was still interesting, and I'd like to get a full pose set of the redesign, but currently we don't really have the ability for that right now. So yes, the original is what Chalkfee just posted, which you can also see if you're watching the stream, sitting behind the Comic Sans Pony character on the radioactive barrel, because she is a ghoul and she can do that.
I mean, if you have to flaunt it.
Well, technically Megaspell is
like
a
crossover.
is a glowing ghoul. So
Yeah, I don't know. We came up with really weird canon for Megaspell, where her special talent being cleaving allowed her to absorb all of the radiation in the area. So the area is actually radiation free, but she's super glowing.
Like a frickin' vacuum cleaner.
The in-canon location of Nuclear Horseman Studios, which apparently is the ruins of Warmer Mare Studios.
You came up with this.
Yes.
You don't get to say apparently when it's your canon.
Yeah, but apparently it makes it sound dignified.
Is fairly close to one of my Applewood Canon's Megaspell craters. In fact, there's a whole ghoul community that lives near that crater, with Warmer Mare Studios being within the blast radius. But this one studio out of like the entire area has significantly less radiation. I believe it only has about like less than 1 rad per second. So I mean, just take your rad away and trying to spend too much time there.
Just give him a big, long hug.
And then Megaspell herself, unless she's actively releasing the radiation as like an offensive attack that a lot of glowing ghouls can do, also only gives off about less than 1 rad per second. It's also the fact that she's a glowing ghoul is the reason why she has a lot more of her coat than your typical ghoul. It regenerates just as fast as it falls out.
Awesome! Hug her! The tingling means it's working. Just hold on for a little while. She'll be happier, and, if your lungs start to melt, it's
Nice warm
okay.
hugs.
Don't worry about it.
Well, look,
She
radiation
deserves
is
hugs.
used as a sterilizer, so if you give her a big hug, it'll protect you from the coronavirus.
Yes, she's a walking 5G tower. It's great.
No,
I
that
could
means
think of worse ways
she'd
to
be
melt.
giving people corona.
Oh, right.
I could think of
Sorry,
worse ways to
she's
die
not a
horribly.
walking 5G tower.
Oh, she's a walking,
Emo.
I didn't hear what you said, and crissement, j'oublie le mot en anglais. C'est quoi le mot pour un stériliseur radioactif? Crissement, c'est quoi ça?
She's Chalkfee said that she'd be a walking chemotherapy.
Oh,
No.
look, you can be a smarmy asshole in 2 languages.
But only if you, injected her blood inside of you.
True.
That sounds incredibly unhealthy.
And
But what if it cures
definitely
cancer?
a biohazard and definitely not a good idea.
But what if it cures cancer?
I think
It could
it does
also
the
cause
opposite of
cancer.
that.
Well, if you have cancer, then you use it to cure cancer, and then you get cancer again.
Yo, dog, I heard you like cancer, so we gave you cancer on your cancer.
We gave the cancer so much cancer that it can't grow anymore. You see,
Also,
this tumor is pressing on this tumor's pituitary gland, so that this bigger tumor can't grow any larger.
Okay, then.
If your tumor has a pituitary gland, that's not a tumor, that's a person.
So you
also,
you
apparently
hug
in
her and
Megan's
give
What
her.
I'm hearing is your tumor
she was like-
caused
she had-
you to have an abortion.
She did not have any damaged skin until she met the members of NHS. Oddly enough, the OC that is the voice actor for Megaspell. I thought it was just funny to have this be the story. Starry Flame, in the Fallout Equestria universe, was my character's alicorn bodyguard, because Starry Flame's OC is an alicorn.
Okay. I'm sorry to interrupt,
Yeah.
but I actually do have one of my voice actors trying to get a hold of me.
Okay.
So-
Okay.
Don't worry
I'm
about it.
sorry, I've got
the
to
podcast.
step away.
Don't worry about it. Talk to you later.
Talk to you
Yeah,
later.
I'm sorry, I've got to step away. It's good to hang out with you guys, and I'll see if I can join in again in the future.
Yes, that was a
That
pleasure.
might be great. Yeah, pleasure.
Ta-ta!
Later, fam.
Bye. So, anyways, Starry Flames in Fallout Equestria universe character apparently fired on Megaspell. And so Megaspell has one fear, and it is Starry Flame, which is funny because Starry Flame is her voice actor.
Hey, crime.
Anyway,
Anyways, instead of talking about the
It's because
why
they're a
does this
zebra, right?
exist canon of NHS, let's talk about other stuff.
I don't know. What do you want to talk about?
I don't know.
I mean, if you give us
Future
the
project?
chance, we'll hijack your goddamn fucking podcast and talk about our shit. So don't let us.
we can talk about future
Well,
projects.
actually,
Me
the
and my
reason
Flyers
that-
League.
in case you're unaware,
Those
those of you watching, obviously you guys are aware, at least you should be. Our partnership with Dead Tree Studios is to, well, it was to make some merchandise to be sold at conventions, but because of Corona, there isn't any conventions. But yeah, that was part of the agreement we had with Dead Tree, was they would help produce some merchandise for us.
What he did is he doesn't know. Corona was part of the plan the whole time.
I mean,
It's us who installed the 5G towers. That's why we're broke.
in case YouTube is concerned, we're joking about this 5G tower stuff. Don't mark us as a conspiracy video.
Yes.
The game was rigged for the start.
If we get marked as a conspiracy video, we might get recommended to a whole new audience.
I mean,
Yeah, become Alex Jones. Sell yourself out.
If we had the art to make into merchandise,
I'm sick and tired of this
You can still
goddamn
technically make
friendship
it.
they're putting
You
in
just
the
have to sell it
motherfucking
online.
water that turns the damn changelings gay.
the water turned the changelings.
I think that was actually... I remember a comic that did that joke. Oh, man. It was adorable. When all the changelings turned colorful.
I recently created a Nuclear Horseman Studios website.
Nice.
It's great.
Nice.
Wait, no. I didn't say anything.
I'm still putting it together, but it is live as a subdomain of Wix, because hosting it under its own domain was beyond our budget currently.
High class domain. We could have gotten a .tk or something.
Yeah, but I don't know if we can
If you
transfer the site I
want-
created on Wix to a .tk domain.
So,
Yeah.
if you want, I'd suggest talking with Ty, because Ty's a licensed web domain dealer. He's actually who we go through to get all our freaking domain, and he also does all our hosting and all that stuff. It costs about 100 and something a year through him.
Wix
all
was
said
about
and done.
double that, so
Yeah. Now that being said, you, I haven't looked at or seen or used Wix, in years. So I don't know what any of their newer functionality is, but if Wix has a method to export your HTML or CSS code, or directly edit the HTML and CSS of the website on top of just their builder, because I know they have a modular builder system similar to like Shopify or whatever.
yeah, which is great. Actually,
Yeah,
I
it's really
enjoyed
nice
the
if you don't know
builder.
anything about web design. So if they have the ability, to export that or even edit it, you can copy the full HTML coding and hand it to Ty, and he'll host your website and get you your proper domain name and all of that fun stuff, and get you set up. And it should be cheaper than Wix. Plus, there isn't any of the other things. But anytime you want to do something or change something, you have to go through them or hire an actual web manager to edit your own code and whatnot. So that's the downfall, is like it's harder for you to update it, but it'll, it's less expensive and all that fun stuff.
Yeah. I did actually, if you guys go to the website, I actually do have, on the homepage, one of the scrolling pictures is an advertisement for Dead Tree, because you're our partner. And then also,
yeah, I am seeing that.
Under the partners section, there's a link to your website and all your social media.
Speaking of, I still need your partnership information for our website, because I never got that.
I gave it to Ty.
Some of it's
you gave it to Ty?
I can directly
Okay.
send it to you if you're the one who does the
yeah,
website.
resend it to me, and I'll get it set up, and I'll make sure that it gets done up with Ty. I'm gonna double check our our website. Also, if you have a banner set up, you can send that to me, and I'll get Ty to put it on our scrolling banner.
The
Uh,
banner we have is just a YouTube banner that Chalkfee made of the ruins of Warmermere Studios with our original
We don't have a real
not
ad
unique
type thing
logo
yet.
spray painted on the water tower, the Warner Brothers water tower kind of thing, with the
old YouTube
destroyed
video
Applewood
thing.
sign in the background.
well, I mean, it's just whatever you guys want for our scrolling.
I can either have Chalkfee make something specific, or I can just send you that.
Doesn't matter. I mean, Chalkfee, if you're wanting to make something, PM me and I'll tell you the sizes. If you guys don't want to bother with making anything, then just send me the project file to whatever the hell you got.
Well, Chalkfee, one thing you could do is you could add the like Nuclear Horseman Studios, some kind of like title font or something like that, to the existing thing
It
we
was
have.
on there originally. Is it not on there anymore?
The version that I have doesn't have that. You may have made a version of that. It was probably one of the versions of our ARG
Maybe
kind
I was
of
just thinking of the
business cards we
Applewood
had.
thing. I might just be thinking of the Applewood thing.
You're thinking of the Applewood, which the in-universe location of NHS is in Applewood, Equestria. That's why we have that. But people that might not know that might think that we're called like Applewood Studios or something. So we need to put the title in there somewhere, probably.
Either way, I'll leave it to you guys to figure out. Zen, could
Yeah.
you, if you still have all that information you sent to Ty, could you resend it to me?
I gave him our logo, the radiation symbol with the 3 horseshoes, but I didn't give him any other information. I don't know if you want me to write up a little blurb on
Sure,
what we are, what we do.
I'll private message you. So yeah, I'll need a I'll private message you right now.
So the artist. So if there's any artist alterations that need to be done.
At the moment,
that'll be
you can
between
go
the
through
two of
Sam.
you to figure out. So I just sent you an example of what we have for our partner Fiora. So yeah, it's an image, which can just be your logo, obviously your name, which is Nuclear Horseman Studios, a 1-paragraph blurb about who you are and what you do, and then any of your links. So your YouTube, your website, your Twitch, your Twitter, your whatever.
Also, these business deals on
I
stream.
don't think we
Right?
have we do have a Twitch.
So anyway, back to the stream.
Yes. Which
we can
technically
talk
I
about
planned to end
future.
it at 3, but we kind of got sidetracked, so we can go a little longer.
So we can talk a little bit about future projects. Is there any information on future partnership projects between Dead Tree and NHS at the moment?
Occasionally Zen will send me some audio of someone reading an excerpt of the Fallout Equestria pen and paper game, and I'll just kind of edit it together and post it as an advertisement on our channel. You, Chalkfee, I've told you multiple times that I would like you to, if you want to, obviously not going to force you, to be the GM of a Nuclear Horseman Studios game.
Speaking of that, I actually have a few plans for that. That actually is going to be a sequel to an upcoming project from NHS that is now being developed.
I think we should keep that one a little under wraps until it's more planned.
It's planned! I just need to get the fucking pilot written and made. I need an editor.
Which means it's not to the point where we should be announcing anything regarding it.
Whatever. You announced this. You announced the Storyteller like a year before we made an episode.
That's a fair point. I think I started. I started planning it in 2017 when the studio didn't exist. I literally the first thing I did was ask if Forrest wanted to be the voice of the storyteller. I had
He's
no
a cool guy.
scripts. I had no plan. I had no studio. I don't know
But
what
you
I
had
would
a
have done
vision,
if he
and
said
that's
no.
the important thing.
Huh?
What?
I said, but you had a vision, and that's the important thing.
A vision. Yeah, I recently actually got advice on audio dramas from Darker Projects, a audio drama website that I've always been a fan of. So that's interesting.
Nice.
That was fun. The only person that I would like to get advice from that I haven't gotten advice from are the people from East Corp. No.
I mean,
From East Corp. If you're in our server, there's a bunch of people from East Corp in our server.
it's
You can just ping 'em.
definitely especially in like the Brony community, and even in like the Fallout Equestria community, you can basically throw a stone and find someone who's connected to someone. I mean, it's mean to throw stones, so you probably shouldn't. But I'm just saying
The whole
we're all
whole
kind
7
of pretty
degrees.
interconnected. Except
The whole
for me,
7 degrees thing is
apparently. I was super hard to contact for a year.
somehow. Anyway, it's really funny. The whole what was it called? I'm stupid. The whole like 7 degrees, like the 7 degrees of Kevin Bacon, is like 3 degrees in the Brony fandom.
I think we call
that
it
easy.
like the 7 degrees or the 3 degrees of Pinkie Pie, because Pinkie Pie.
You can get to basically anyone in the entire thing in like 3 steps. One from the other. It's that easy.
It's worse in the Fallout Equestria community because it's such a tight knit community.
Yeah, it's basically you're either in a group with that person, or you're in the group with a person who's in a group with that person. There's pretty much
apparently
no.
I was super
longer.
hard to get in contact for a year.
Well, you wouldn't have been if people knew who I was. Apparently, apparently people didn't know who I was.
Project, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why, fun little segue, we opened a public Discord, tangentially related to Nuclear Horseman Studios, which the link should be in the description, and it is called the Applewood Wasteland Bureau of Tourism. It's framed as being the Bureau of Tourism for the Applewood Wasteland. And just to... Okay, good. I can still hear you guys. I was worried for a second.
No, we just let you talk.
Nope, still here.
Sorry, I have a bad habit of just talking forever.
Don't we all?
Yeah, oh mine.
But yeah, so
I'm sorry, there's no voice that I find as sexy as my own. Eat me, Moon.
Well, I promise to get you. I promise when human cloning becomes a thing, I'll get you your ideal match.
Him and Captain Canada.
So yeah, if anyone watching this wants to have a way to interact with Nuclear Horseman Studios without having to support us on Patreon, which we also have a link to Patreon in the description.
Woo, free!
We have a public server. And if you are a Patreon supporter and you're in that server, you get a specific role. You are basically promoted from a tourist to a resident of Applewood. And also, if you support us on Patreon, you get access, at least from the $5 tier and up, to our production Discord. So, yeah, support us on Patreon.
I am merch.
And support Dead Tree. They're also on Patreon.
Buy our merch. The merch that doesn't exist. Yeah.
I did set up a Redbubble account. I just haven't
Buy
made
the
things
posters
public,
that we've
and
designed.
before I did,
But haven't made.
The Dead Tree partnership occurred.
Well, we'll all find out how everything works out within a couple years.
Yeah,
Well, I think that's just about everything we wanted to cover in this podcast, unless anybody else can think of anything. So thank you, everybody. Thank you, everybody, for coming. Thank you for
to the
the listeners in the chat.
Project Dead Tree, which I introduced them as Project Dead Tree, but didn't introduce their specific names.
It's okay, our names don't matter. We are Legion.
We are. Thank you.
For we are many.
We are Legion.
But
all hail the glow cloud.
All hail the glow cloud, and praise Michael.
Titty all day, every day.
Titty all day, every day.
Cinder Script, voice actor currently for Spike, and possibly another character in the Storyteller, who's also the head of Shotgun Angel Productions. So go check them out. A lot of links I gotta remember to add to the description.
We need to make a deal with these people.
But
we need to make deals. We need to network more.
Yeah.
We're not networking enough.
Oh, you networked quite a lot because you know people and you have ins to different things. Networking is just simply the act of getting to know people and getting your foot in the door to future relationships.
Yeah, I know y'all are doing great.
I have networking connections.
Not
sure about
networking connections are like.
Yeah.
And since I talk to you, you already grown a bit, so you know.
Yeah. Actually, before we end the stream, I will say, and this might seem like a weird, and it's not a weird thing to shout out, but it was just interesting to mention. I was watching the analytics of the most recent episode, and for a time, exactly 1/3 of the views on that video came from Equestria Daily. So shout out to Equestria Daily. Like, it was exactly.
Shout out to Equestria Daily, because they definitely need the shout outs from us.
I know, no, I know that
really tiny, small blog.
But it was just
this blog that's made by some people that we happen to know. Yeah.
It's just funny that exactly 33.3% of our views on the last video for at least a time came from Equestria Daily. So, all of you who subscribed because of the post on EQD, thank you. We appreciated it more than you know. And also, apparently the fan favorite background music was from the Ministry of Awesome episode, so glad you liked it. I'll pass that information on to Stable 2, Stallion.
So what I'm hearing is the music from that episode was found to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, no. That's the name of the song.
You could even say it was pure awesome. That would only be funny if you knew that the title of that piece was pure awesome.
Yeah. I got it, but I already made that joke, so your point was not as good.
Okay, I think that's a good point to end.
Yes, thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful evening, and we'll be back for more the next time an episode comes out. So like 3 months from now.
Do a podcast sometime in between.
Maybe we'll get an episode done in less than.